Yeah, there we go.
Ah, cool.
And streaming. Now, okay. We're live.
Okay. I'll go get the flag.
People are leaving. Wow.
Martin, if you're talking, you're on mute.
Do you guys have any idea, rough guess at how long both these meetings will end up taking? Like an hour, less?
I was planning less than an hour, that's for sure.
Okay, because I've had like a family emergency and I can't stick around for too long.
Let's get it going then.
Okay.
You're the chair.
Yeah, you're up.
This is the January 6th, 7:30 meeting of the Town of Poolesville Commissioners, a special meeting to fill the vacancy of Carrie Cook, who stepped down as president.
All right, and someone to do the pledge? Maybe Jeff?
Jeff, do you want to start us on the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah, I was just waiting for Martin. Is it okay, Martin?
Yeah, go for it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Jay, do you have something for us in terms of what we need to do from a legal perspective in terms of filling the offices?
Okay, yes, I do. So as you know, the presiding officer, Commissioner Cook, stepped down 2 days ago as president, leaving a vacancy in the presidency. Under Charter Section 82-4, which covers the presiding officers and how they're elected, it states that the vice president acts as the president until you all pick a new president. So tonight, what you need to do is you need to make a motion to nominate a new president. Get that motion seconded, then you can have discussion on that, and then you can vote, and it would be a majority rule on that. And that would basically solve your problem for the president. Any questions?
No.
Jeff, I see you.
See you, Jeff.
I wanted to be recognized by Martin.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, so as I understand it, Jay, we need to fill the spot for the president. And I made some notes here because it has been somewhat of a tumultuous day, I would say. So let me just get the easy part out first. I'm going to nominate Jim Brown for the office of president. And can I say some things in addition to that, or do I have to wait for a second?
You say whatever you want.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, this is my observation, maybe. Yeah, so Jim has the most experience of all the current commissioners. In Jeff's opinion, of course, Jim has 12 years. I think it's 12. I'm not positive about the number. As a previous president of the commission. And I believe Jim is quite action oriented. He has an excellent working relationship with the town staff. Jim is well known, of course, within Poolesville and respected as a respected business person in Poolesville. I should be more energetic, and somehow I don't feel energetic. And as I mentioned on Monday, I felt that if we continued doing the same thing. The only results we can really expect are similar results as we've had, and I take full 20% of that responsibility. Plus, I can't help but saying again that it took a resident to kind of kick me in the pants. I won't say anybody else, but kick me in the pants and say by saying the very simple question, "What are your accomplishments?" And then I was just thinking to myself like the whole day long. And that kind of sparked me into suggesting a change, and that, of course, was on Monday. So that's what I wanted to say. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, I have a couple things to say. I know you guys are going to second this, and I know Jim's going to be the president, and I will work with Jim. I have worked with Jim. I think Jim's done a great job with fair access. I think Jim's done a great job with a lot of things. I will not vote. I will abstain on this vote, and I have a reason for that. I don't think Jim, in my personal opinion, has the leadership skills to be president. I would nominate Ed Reed to be president. Some of the reasons I say this are most recently, when Jeff and Ed were first on the board, we had a tour of facilities. We had a team building event. Our first meeting, Jim chose not to go to those. That, to me, that seems like something that lacks leadership. We had a discussion in a closed session about Jim trying to negotiate a staff member's retirement that was done unilaterally behind our back. I think that doesn't show great leadership. And then there's I have a whole list of things, but this is just the recent stuff. And again, I think Jim will do fine. I think that Jim has done a great job with fair access, but I will abstain on that vote. I'm not comfortable with it.
You can vote no if you want to. I'm not going to be offended.
I don't want to like impede progress. I don't want to, the town is the important thing here. So I will abstain. But I did throw that nomination out for Ed Reed.
Gotcha. Jay, where are we at right now?
A motion was made by Commissioner Eck. It needs to be seconded. There was a motion. If we take Martin's as a motion, it would still be out of order because you have a motion on the table. So you still have to deal with, is there a second for Commissioner Eck's motion?
Gotcha. Okay.
Was there any other, Jim, any other discussion about, I was listening to Jeff, listening to Martin.
Sure.
Any things you wanted to say?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'd be happy to answer anything that anybody thinks I've done, or I saw that somebody just put some post on Facebook, some weird last ditch effort to try and, I don't even know, continue our town government in the direction we've been going. But I'm happy to answer any question that anybody has about anything that they think I've done. I didn't go to the wastewater treatment plant because I've been to the wastewater treatment plant probably 30 times in my time as running the town and also as a town commissioner. So there's plenty of stuff that we could go tit for tat on. I'm not interested in doing that, but I still, again, I'm an open book. I'm happy to answer anybody's question on anything. And if I'm elected president, I mean, we've got a long list of things that have to be taken care of. And I'm looking forward to working with the entire commissioner staff, definitely including Martin, definitely including Carrie, and our two newest commissioners to try and put us back on the ball again. I mean, we've got a lot of things that we need to tackle, including completely changing around our lack of open communication. If I'm president, we're not going to give somebody 3 minutes and then cut them off. We're actually going to have conversations and use them as a learning experience for us and as well as our commissioners. I plan on restoring the same morale that I had at town hall when I was president before, and I'm excited about that. I think that there's a leadership theory that talks about where people do not want to work for the people that they don't necessarily want to work for, and then that leads to a degrading of their performance. And I'm not into that. I'm into actually lifting everybody up. And we had a good run when I was president before. And I'm excited about bringing that same level of morale and kind of a happy, more pro Poolesville workforce working for us and with us. I'm looking forward to doing something different with our town manager. Our town manager situation for the last 2 go-rounds has been, it could have worked out better because we're looking for another one. I think you can't keep beating your head against the wall and expecting different results. I want to do something different there. I'm excited about re-energizing our business community. One of the reasons why I really took a lot of pride in what we did as a commissioner team when I was president before was we were all really engaged with our business community. That was through Val and through various players. I think all the people that are on commissioner staff now, they can do that as well. And I think that it's important for all of us to become more involved. Because again, we haven't spoken once to any of our commercial strip center owners. We don't even know what they have planned. And I've got some good plans for that too. Then finally, I want to bring back like Poolesville pride and in a way that the pools of the town can be united as one. We don't have constituencies here in Poolesville. We have the entire town as our constituency. And enough negative. I think we can work hard together and we can bring together the town again, and we can get back to being the town that celebrated what we are in our events, et cetera. And I've only got 10 months to do this. I do not plan on running for office again. My time will be up. I'm going to hopefully, work with our commissioner staff to have good commissionering and then have the opportunity to, bring in our new restructuring, introduce new systems. It's kind of a tall order for 10 months, but I'd like to do as much as we can and not have any more agendas that are just blank and not moving the town forward. So I appreciate you asking. I hope that's not too much, but for all my detractors out there and whoever's writing nasty stuff on Facebook, I'm happy to talk to anybody about anything, anytime. And my time is only 10 months long, and it is to help get us back on our feet and have us be act as one body again. And I'm not demeaning anything that Carrie and Martin did. They've carried the flag nicely, but this is just a change.
Well, of course, you can't demean anything I did. I've been the vice president. I've had no effect on agendas. None of that. None of that has my fingerprints on it. I've done nothing but show up and do the best job I could.
Again, it's more about, to me, I'm not saying anything about anything that you've done or not done, Martin. It's more about moving the ball forward. And I think anybody has to know that I have 10 months. There won't be any developments ever approved in this town in 10 months that I will have my fingerprints on any part of it. And I do think that we actually need to grow as a town over a period of time. You can just look at the budget out years and know that the town needs to have a very small trickle of development, but that's not going to be up to me to decide that. So I'll be gone. You all can do with it what you want. So that's where I am. If anybody has any questions, I'm open to answer them. And I'm also open on Facebook, or anybody can call me if they want to at 301-221-1988. And I'll meet you at the CVS and we'll talk at length.
I'm calling right now.
Hey, you might.
If you didn't even answer, he lies.
No, it's right here.
All right, y'all are funny. Hey guys, we'll watch the time also. It's Jim. No, I appreciate that, and then I'm sitting here because I really want. It's a tough decision as we go through here, and it's important to look at how we move the town forward. And Jeff, I'm listening to what you shared and what you shared last week that you put on the agenda for the next week about our operations and how we operate and what are some things that we could do differently. And then I think about the things that we need to improve internally. And I think it starts at the commissioner level first. I think we have to begin to look at how are we going to hold ourselves accountable for what we do and what we don't do. We need to have our own matrix to measure our own effectiveness and our own internal systems to hold ourselves accountable before we are able to look at how we do that with other parts of the town. And so after careful thought and consideration, I'll go ahead and I'll second Jeff's nomination. And I think that Jim, I think your experience over the years brings a lot of the insight, but more so just being able to work with Jim on the Fair Access Committee. I've had the opportunity just to work closely with Jim and that in the Fair Access Committee to watch things get moved in such a way that we can really put some legs behind the ideas. And so we've made some great momentum in that respect. In terms of being nominated for a president, there's still some things I would need to learn before I would step into that role, and it'd have to have some more time. And so with that, I'll just thank you, Martin, for that vote of confidence there, but I'll second Jeff's nomination. So that's where we are. So Jay, I guess what would be the?
So you have a motion and a second, and I think everybody spoke. So Martin, if you want to call for the vote and see how that goes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? And I'm abstaining.
Okay.
301. And so President Brown, you can run the meeting from here.
Okay, thank you for that, Jay, and thank you everybody for voting confidence. And Martin, again, I appreciate your criticism, and anything that I can do to be a better leader and
Just be more transparent, Jim. Just be more transparent, please.
well, I think
trying to
that's what,
negotiate somebody's salary behind our backs is not cool. Like, just be more transparent. I know you have what it takes to do a good job at this. Like, you're a smart guy. Sometimes I think I've said it before, your best asset is also your worst one. Like, you can convince anyone to do anything, and like that can be used for good or bad. Like, please use it for good. Please be transparent. That's all I would ask.
that sounds like my wife. Thank you for that. But I'm trying to figure out, I don't even know, we can talk offline, but I don't know whose salary or anything like that you're talking about, but I'm happy to talk to you about it. I don't really know what you're talking about.
It was discussed in a closed session that you weren't at one time, but anyway, we'll talk about it offline.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay, Martin, and so keeping not to just roll right into criticism and then go from there. I would like to make a motion, and nothing personal against Martin, but to have Martin removed as vice president in order to clear the decks for a new vice president that I'm hoping that the board will accept. So I'm making a motion to remove Martin as vice president. Definitely still want his commissionering skills at full force, but I'd like to make that motion.
I would like, I don't know if my thing is on because I don't have my microphone.
We can hear you, Jeff.
Okay, thanks. I I don't feel half as much energy as I know I should.
Well, you
So-
are at work.
That's when I should be the most energized. We just got back from a call, so we can't tell you about that. But anyway, Martin has been positively true to the people on Protect Our Poolesville. And he has held up that promise remarkably. And I couldn't have done it better than Martin has. And I probably haven't told that to him until this moment. Martin has done, and I may be repeating myself, but what Jim is saying is not a referendum in any manner, shape, or form against Martin. He has done an admirable job as vice president, and for that I thank you very much.
Well, if it's not a referendum, then don't remove me, right?
And I very much appreciate your openness and your honesty. And like I say, we probably haven't had as many conversations as we might have had. I really want the five of us, I know Carrie's not here, to work together. I want to have a list of accomplishments so long that are visible by the residents, that no one, of course, they're all invited to attend every meeting and be on the open comment. But if we have a list of accomplishments so long, we won't get a question like, what have you done? And that has been a kick in my pants since, what was it, Monday, I guess, or maybe before Monday. Anyway, yeah, Martin has done a very good job as vice president, and I thank you for that. I forgot what our point was.
So I made a motion to remove Martin as vice president. You were talking about Martin in a positive way.
Yeah, well, I wanted to commend Martin for his service as vice president.
That was nice. Is there a second to my motion? I guess that's the question that's out there right now.
I know I'm hesitating. I'm going to second the motion, but it is not a second against Martin. It's a second. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. This is not easy.
Okay, thank you. Motion and second. We're open for more discussion from anybody on this. And it's up to, Ed, if you've got something to contribute to this. If not, I've also got a little bit more I could add into my thinking on this as well. So, unfortunately, we have to do things in order. If we're looking to potentially have a new vice president, we have to remove the previous vice president. And that's part of the discussion here is if this warrants that, then that's the question that we're debating right now. And then if there is going to be a new direction, that would take place after this discussion. So that's some background on why we're even having this conversation right now. And if just for my 2 cents, since I am the one that made the motion, I can comment. Again, nothing personally against Martin either, but I'm looking for a new direction in terms of what we need to do for the future of Poolesville. And if we end up removing Martin and electing either one of the 3 remaining commissioners to the spot, I think that it's someone that in my remaining term here that I'm going to want to groom to be an officer for this board moving forward, and someone that is actually accomplishment that's going to take the next 10 months, work closely with the commissioners in general and push this pretty big agenda through as best we can. And the agenda really is what we've already talked about. And I'm looking for a partner in that. I'm nothing against Martin personally. You can already tell how he's felt about me. But this, I want a partner that's going to be into open communications, creating the morale where it needs to be created, doing the things that we've talked about that we really haven't touched so far in the last few years. Not to mention that we have a lot of things that are on our legal agenda that is going to take some real sleeves up work that's more than just delegating it to a town manager or delegating it to the attorney. These are going to be pieces that these commissioners are going to have to wrap our heads around, and it's going to take work to do it. So said, I'm nothing against Martin as our current vice president, but I think we need new leadership in order to embrace the things that we're going to change from the start that are all positives, and then also deal with the past that is a past that we really have not moved forward on over the last several years. And we've got some pretty substantial pending issues that have to be dealt with.
To be clear, Jim, you're saying that you need to move in a different direction with new leadership. I have no leadership capacity in vice president. I had no leadership capacity. I don't accept that like somehow I was inadequate. Like you guys want to remove me, that's great. But there's been, this is not, my fingerprints aren't on this. Like this, I didn't, if you have a problem with Carrie, that's with Carrie. I was just the vice president, which is an acting role. The only thing I did differently than any of you who all had like, the equal amount of votes and everything is I think twice filled in for Carrie when she was out doing other things. So.
Yeah, I understand that. I guess I look at the role as the vice president different. And I think that the vice president it can be a driver and a person that can push the ball forward. And that's my expectation. Let's put it that way. And then I'm also, and we can debate this, but I think it's important that the officers have the experience, which you do have, And you still have a very critical position on the planning commission. There's no question about that. And, you know, autonomous board that has a major positioning with the town. And that's something I would not want to change. But I think that we're looking at the past as well as the future with this. And
Sure.
I want somebody that is, that's really, you know, my list is right now from day one is like 10 pieces long. We may not accomplish 2 or 3 of them, but we've got them out there. And if I was serving as vice president and I had a president that I wanted to work with, then that would have been a prodding to say, hey, Mr. and Ms. President, you know, we've got these items out here that are just outstanding and that they have got to be taken care of. And we've got we got morale issues and we got other things that are, and I think you've done a good job with some of that.
Yeah, I have a list too, and so we should combine our list because I have some really good things on here too. So,
Well, you can speak up. That's up to you if you want to do that. This is still the open discussion part of this meeting. So
no, I think that offline we should combine lists. I mean, I have you know, maybe there's some redundancy here, but I have some things that I think are very important that need to be addressed and haven't been addressed, and so.
okay, understood.
Yep. So
Got
let's just do this vote. Any more discussion?
So you guys, we have a motion on the floor to remove Martin as vice president, and we have a second. Let's. Is there anybody else? Any commentary? Ed, is that you?
Yes, no, I wanted to jump in also. I know it because any decision that we make, it needs to be well thought out. And for myself, I like to really listen and observe and then process what I've seen and what I've heard. And I would agree with Jeff's sentiments in terms of Martin's contributions and his work. I had a chance to work with Martin closely when I first got on the commission, when we dealt with some of those issues in the town manager position. And then Martin, what is your view of the role of the vice president? How do you see that role playing out?
Well, it would depend on what the president needs from, you know, like you take the lead from the president. You try to bring things to the table. I've been trying to bring things to the table. You know, I think that you're out there doing the same thing the other commissioners are doing. You know, you're trying to work for the town. You're trying to meet with people. You're trying to listen to your constituents. You're trying to like bring up ideas. You know, you're trying to push the town forward.
Ed, are you taking notes?
Yep.
Or did we lose you?
No, I was taking notes. I'm done. Thank you, Martin.
Sure.
So is there any more discussion on this? There's only 4 of us, so there can't be too much more. Jeff, any follow-up on since you raised the motion, any follow-up after the discussion? Jeff, are you there, man?
He's there, but he's muted. Unmute. There you go.
Jeff, any further discussion from you? You've seconded the motion. Is there anything further?
Jeff, we can't hear you.
Come on, Jeff, talk to us, baby.
Check your settings, Jeff, to see where which microphone is being used in your settings. And right now we can see that not yet.
Does that make any difference?
That made a big difference.
Well, you're back.
Okay, well, I was here all along. But now I have to talk through my laptop instead of through this, which is what I would have this on for.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's. I don't know if I have anything to add. I don't think I made the motion, but I did second the motion.
Right.
And the only thing I would reiterate, and it's difficult for me to put myself in the shoes of a different person, is probably not even fair to suggest that I am, but I just want to make sure, or at least say that this is not a vote of unconfidence against Martin. It is not a vote of lack of confidence or lack of performance against Martin. It isn't. Now, I know that's very difficult for me, it's easy for me to say, but it's not always easy if I'm, in the shoes of a different person to accept, but that's all I wanted to add. Thanks.
Well, I appreciate
Okay.
your confidence, Jeff, and thanks for the nice words.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
We know what's going to happen. Let's get this over with.
Okay, guys, so we have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. The motion is to remove Martin as vice president. All those in favor of removing Martin as vice president, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Who else do we have? Is that voice vote? Is that Jeff on aye?
Well, if you can hear me, it is yes.
Okay.
Aye.
And then do we hear from you, Ed?
Yeah, I'm processing, Jim. I'm got a couple thoughts running through my head. That's the challenge, because it's it's a challenge. And so I think that it's in the importance of moving, in a different direction. And I guess just my view of what you have to do of a vice president, no matter what organization you're in, might be a little different. Somewhat aligned, somewhat different. And so I would go ahead and say aye, but there's nothing personal there.
Okay, none of this is personal, and that's understood. Any opposed? Martin, your vote?
I'm abstaining from this vote, and I want to say too, like I know it's not personal. I don't take it personal for anyone. And Jim, you shouldn't take what I've said personally. Like it's just an honest criticism that I just want to see us do our best. So
Understood. Not taking his criticism. I fully expect that we've got to work hand in hand, no matter what, over the next until at least the end of my term, and then after that, it's your all's ball of wax. After that. Okay, so that Martin has been officially removed as vice president. Now, I would like to make a motion to nominate Ed as vice president. And the reason why I'm making that nomination is because I think Ed has excellent potential as president material going down the line. And I think he also lines up with my view of how a vice president should work with a president. I know this from working with him on fair access. And I've seen his leadership skills and his leadership training. And I'm hoping that all of us, definitely including me, can learn more as a leader and how a group help us function together better as a group. So I'm nominating Ed to serve as vice president.
So Ed, you hear that? You're being groomed to be president in 11 months. Are you gonna be our next president?
You got an election coming up in 11 months, and you never know what candidates might step on. And you might have a rock star that comes in and has great experience. You might have some folks who served before who would come in. I think that what I think we need to do as commissioners I think it's so important to really work together, and we really have to look at how do we leverage our collective strengths and protect our collective weaknesses from being able to prohibit us from doing what we need to do. And so it's not so much as being groomed, while that's thank you for the vote of confidence, but 11 months is a long way away. My biggest concern right now is it starts internally, and I look at how do we really put some things in process to support the town manager, so that the town manager can really take the lead on employee morale, staff development, these kinds of things, and then how are we supportive of that piece. And then also just looking at the whether I was vice president or not, but the past year I've just really kind of I've set back to observe. I try to do some things, but try not to step on anybody's toes. I've been very blessed and fortunate to serve in various leadership capacities over the last 30 years. And so it's, when I look at the town that we share, that we love, I'm just concerned that we can't have so much division. And if we don't work in alignment, and if we don't leverage our strengths, I anticipate having more problems. And so when Jeff raised what he had to say at our last meeting, I thought about that because I had been reading, like I said before, I had been reading the minutes. And when it's all said and done, regardless of who's the commissioner, you serve for 4 years, you serve for 8 years, but we have folks who are impacted by the decisions that we make, the attitudes that we carry, and the culture that we develop. And it's so important that we are able to work together to really, and this is tough, it's a tough thing. And I would be in the spirit of transparency. It's there are times where I said, man, what in the world have I gotten myself into? And then there are other times that say, well, look, you're there, you had your 3 C's, compassion, competence, and commitment. Now you got to step up to it. And so I gave myself a year to learn what it is to be a commissioner and to really know once you're on the inside. And now that we're here, moving forward for a new year, I don't want to be in the same place 12 months from now that we are. So that's the deal. So Martin,
Yes.
answer that question is for me, it's not about grooming. If things move that way, that's great. If not, I think whatever happens, we'll have, like I said, we'll have a new election in November. We'll see who Jim said he's done, and then someone else will take that slot. And you never know who can come in with it.
I think you'll do a great job in whatever capacity you serve. So.
Agreed. Okay, Ed, are you done?
I'm done, man. I'm off the soapbox.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Did we have a second to nominate Ed as vice president?
Can I have a moment?
Sure.
Okay, so, and you can
Sorry,
hear me, I guess,
I'm
right?
sorry, Jeff. I thought you had your moment. It was hard keeping track.
Well, yeah.
Got
it. Okay, so I'll take several moments here.
good.
I'm going to second Ed's nomination for vice president. Certainly looking at Ed's wall behind him and on his tabletop, he's got many awards and accolades and credentials and also experience from his professional life that I'm quite certain will help him in the vice president role. But I think even more, I really do think even more important than the plaques and the awards on Ed's desk behind him is the fact that Jim and Ed have been working closely on the Fair Access Committee. Now, being on the Fair Access Committee is not a prerequisite for being the president or vice president of the commission, but the fact that you are on the same committee and have been working closely together to move the Western County area forward with the White's Ferry, with many different projects, right? The high school and the White's Ferry and a number of other things, the community center, the gymnasium and whatnot. So anyway, it's clear to me that you'll work well together. I think that's, for me, the most important thing is having a working relationship. And that's clear that you have, kind of already solidified that in your Fair Access Committee position. So yeah, I second the nomination of Ed Reed for the vice president position. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ed. Now, further discussion
My
from
name is
any
Jeff.
other members, including Martin, you're still free to step up to the plate here and talk about it.
No, I think we should
Anybody
vote.
else?
Let's vote.
Okay, if there's no other question or commentary from any of the commissioners, then all those in favor of approving Ed as our new vice president for the town commissioners, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Is that 4? Okay, that vote passes 4-0. Ed, you are our new vice president. Congratulations. I look forward to working with you. I look forward to working with all the commissioners. And Martin, well, there's no question, I want to take your list and my list. I'm ready to I don't think we need to bury the hatchet because we do talk, but I'm looking forward to getting a hold of your list and my list, combining them, and all of us working together on trying to make this the most productive timeframe that we can. We've got a lot at stake here, and the town is trusting us to move the ball forward and bring a new town manager, a new structure in line. And we've got that and many other challenges in front of us. So I'm looking forward to tackling them and starting the new communications from day one. Anybody else before we go to closed session?
Just one of the things I've said a couple times, and that is our focus. While this transition is in place, we have to really hit the ground running, and it's in that hitting that ground running, we need to all sit down together and go through that list of priorities at the commissioner's level, and then with some timetables. And we definitely need to do some team building and get moving and just take care of Poolesville. And one of the things I want to say while we're all together, I challenge my fellow commissioners to not look at constituencies, but look at the whole town as our constituents. And it's not this group of people or that group of people. The way I see it, I don't just work for those who voted for me, but I need to work for everybody that's in the town of Poolesville. And I think we all have to do that. We have to set the example of how we can have difficult conversations, unpleasant conversations, but when it's all said and done, we all got to be Poolesville together. We are too small to be divided into fractions.
Of course,
Jeff, I saw your hand up. Jeff, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just take another moment. I want to thank two people. First is Martin, and I really sincerely mean thank you, Martin. I don't know if I have anything new to say, but I don't want you to feel like it's a demotion for you. I don't want you to feel that way, but I'm not in your shoes, so I'm, just so you understand how I feel about it.
I appreciate it.
Second thing, the person I want to mention, I won't even mention the person's name because I'm not sure they want to be mentioned on YouTube here. But there was a woman who came on our commissioner meeting a week ago or 2 weeks ago or something like that, and asked the question, "What are you guys accomplished?" And that for me was one of these what's the word, woke moments. I don't actually like that word, but I think that's the appropriate word. But and then I got to thinking, and I kind of think that this person's oftentimes when you have a person who asks us a question or speaks up about something, there's probably 10, 20, 100 other people that have the same question and they just don't step forward to ask it. And so that's why I wanted to just say that as my last thing for this meeting.
Well, I think it bears mentioning too, Jeff, that I agree with everything you said, but if any commissioner here, first of all, let me back up to address something Ed said. I mean, in my personal opinion, if any commissioner is only working for a specific constituency, they should not be a commissioner. I think that's just not acceptable. But to your point, Jeff, excellent points. But I mean, I remind this board that any of us at any time can bring something forward and have it put on the agenda. So if you have a great idea, get it to Jim, get it on the agenda. I mean, that went for the last president. You could have put stuff on the agenda but let's move forward. I also want to take a second, I didn't always agree with Carrie, but being president appears to be a ton of work. It's pretty thankless. You get slammed on social media, so I do think that, even though I didn't always agree with her, I'd like to thank her for, taking a lot of her time. I mean, she was out there, doing stuff and doing the best she could, whether or not we all agreed, that's a different story, but I think she does deserve a thank you.
You're
She
right,
definitely
Martin.
does.
Yeah, you're right,
Yeah,
Martin.
there's no question about that. And I would agree, Martin, for both of you, but for all the commissioners as well. Just because we've had to navigate through some difficult times. the effort's always been there. And I'm totally gracious. I understand I've walked in those shoes before, and I only walk in them temporarily now. But I do appreciate the effort that has gone into it. And definitely there's been results too. But we're going to go in a slightly different direction here. And I think that's what we need to pivot a little bit. And I'm really looking forward to everyone as best we can act as a team, and also improve all of our morale and everything across the board at Town Hall. We actually are these elected officials. We're just part of a bigger team, and the bigger team is town staff, all of our employees, all of our contractors, the John Strongs, the Jay Gullos. I think we're all looking forward to trying to maximize the results over the next 10, 11 months for the good of the town. And I do appreciate the effort that's gone into it.
All right.
And I want to
Can
echo.
I make a motion?
Actually,
Okay,
I need to do it if that's okay.
Well, before you make your motion,
Yeah,
I just wanted
sure.
to publicly thank Carrie as well, because she has worked hard, and is that we all might do things that other people don't agree with. I know I do things that other people don't agree with, but I think that for her to serve the way she did serve and to do the best that she could do, it should be commended, especially as volunteers to do this work.
That's right. Volunteer. Yep. No question. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that. And just as to let the people know, anybody that's still listening out there, we'll definitely be putting together a to-do list. And I'll be circulating that prior to the next meeting. I want all the commissioners' feedback on that list. And then we'll start tackling that list from day one of everybody working together. So thank you for that meeting tonight, everybody. If you have anything else, let me know. Otherwise, this is a statement that we need to make sure we go into closed session legally. The commissioners of Poolesville intend to meet in closed session immediately following this meeting pursuant to the authority and provisions of the Maryland Open Meeting Act, Section 3-305B of the General Provisions Article of the Maryland Annotated Code for these specific following reasons. Section 3-305B 1I, to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of an employee, or official over whom it has jurisdiction, or paragraph II, any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. Can I get a motion to adjourn this open session and go into closed session pursuant to Section 3-305B1 of the Open Meeting Act?
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second to this motion?
Second by Jeff.
Second by Jeff. Motion by Martin, second by Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
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 4 in favor. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. We will now adjourn into closed session. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Use
tonight.
your second link that was sent out, please.
Yep. See you in a few.
Okay.